I really believe that given the choice, every single entrepreneur would love to be healthy, happy, and successful. But I believe that the reason so many people get stuck is they don't know what to do, or more importantly, they don't know who to be to create those outcomes. And having coached so many healthy, happy, and successful entrepreneurs, the last 5 or 6 years in particular, within my coaching career, I just categorically know the consistent traits of the people who tick all of those 3 boxes. So if you are listening to this and there's a part of you that isn't as healthy as you want to be, or isn't quite as happy as you want to be, or doesn't have the success, whatever that looks like for you, and for many people it's financial, that you want to have, then I'm going to break down as concisely as I possibly can the 5 traits that I've noticed that are the consistent patterns, behaviors, actions, etc. of the people who are at the absolute top of their game, but still find a way to be healthy, in peak shape, and are happy. Because I've also coached on the flip side so many people who have a healthy bank balance, they've got loads of money, but they're miserable, they're constantly stressed, constantly reactive with their behavior, their emotions, and that's caused problems in their personal life. Equally, I believe there's a lot of people out there that might be healthy and in shape, but are not where they want to be when it comes to business, success, wealth, finances. And I'm here to tell you, having coached so many people and on the trajectory to really being fulfilled in all of those 3 outcomes myself, that success leaves clues, and if these guys can do it, then I know you can too. So number 1 is they outsource their health. I'm not just saying that because they work with me, but they protect their bandwidth. They outsource the decision making with their training, food, movement, sleep, basically the project management of themselves and their health. So they have more bandwidth for their business and their family. Because no matter how self-motivated you are, everyone wakes up with 100% bandwidth. And over the course of the day, through making decisions in business, with family, potentially with health, food, training, life, last-minute curveballs, your bandwidth is going to get evaporated at some point. Now, for many people, that bandwidth is shot by midday, early afternoon. For others, it's just before they go to bed. And I really believe that the people who are the healthiest, the entrepreneurs that I've coached, is that they outsource their decision making with their health, whether they work with me or even the people that don't work with me. The common trait and trend is they have a coach, they have someone to check in with, they have someone who takes away the decision making of all of those things I've just said. Because why that's so important too, especially when it comes to health, is I really believe that one of the reasons so many entrepreneurs, business owners are not as healthy or in the shape they want to be is they're stressed. And stressed usually comes because of decision-making fatigue and just a massive dip in energy levels, too much on, overwhelm. So one of the smartest things you can do is outsource your health, because we eat our emotions. And if we're stressed, especially at the end of a long day at work, then we're more likely to eat, drink, or both. And if we're stressed, we can't be happy. So the number one thing, or the first thing, that these guys do, and ladies, because I work with some very successful entrepreneurs who are female as well, is they outsource their health. I've got lots of friends as well who are incredibly successful, who I don't coach, but someone else does. So they can focus on what they love most, business, family. And of course, by being healthy, it keeps them sharp in business. Number 2, they're direct. The healthiest, happiest, and most successful entrepreneurs I coach are direct. There's no fluff, there's no bullshit. They know what they want, and they're not scared to ask for help in order to achieve what they want. I think so many people stay stuck because they aren't direct about what they actually want. And they don't want to put their ego aside to ask for help. I've been there too, bottled up challenges, questions. But now if I want something, I'll reach out. I think who, not how, and who has the answers to the question or the challenge that I'm struggling to overcome. And the reason being direct is so important, especially when time has become more precious, you don't waste time. And the reason I believe that a lot of people struggle to be healthy, happy and successful all in one is they don't know how to manage their time. So if you are more direct with what you want and ask for help quicker, you're going to protect your time and you're going to get the answers to your destination a lot quicker than not asking for help and operating with fluff, waffle, because you don't want to ask for what you want. Number 3, this is a big one. They are intentional in everything they do. When they work, they work. When they train. And when they are with their loved ones, they're generally present with their loved ones. Of course, no one's perfect. I'm certainly not. But the people who tick these 3 boxes are intentional. They don't half-ass anything. If they've got 20 minutes to train, they will do that with 100% focus and intent to remove distractions. When they're at work, they don't waste time and they don't try and do half a job. They see it through. So for me, try and be intentional in everything you do. Another reason that is so important, when we are intentional in what we do, we accomplish more. And when we accomplish more, we feel good. And when we feel good, by default, our decision making, especially when it comes to food, is going to be better. Because as I've just said, we eat our feelings. Generally, poor emotional patterns are followed by poor emotional eating patterns. So being intentional, doing what you said you would do and following through is not only beneficial to actually achieve something and get something done, but it's the emotion, the feeling that comes with that. And also as well, you start then conditioning those actions, and that consistency is part of your identity, because you can't just hope to be a successful person. You can't just hope to be a healthy person. You need to have the daily actions that create that person. So a lot of people might describe me as a healthy person, someone who is in great shape, but that's because I've created that identity because of what I've done consistently and with intention. It's the same with the people who've made absolutely millions who I coach. If someone was to describe them as a successful businessman or a hard worker, they've not just been described that just for the sake of it. They've actually earned their stripes to create that identity and that description and that perception. Okay? So for me, being intentional in everything you do is so important. Number 4 is they train every week. I'm yet to coach any single top operating entrepreneur who is in shape, happy, and who has a fantastic business who doesn't train every week. Because when you train every week, not only do you get to eat more food, but you're generally sharper in mind, stronger physically, fitter physically, which means you get more done. These guys outwork competitors. And if you're very good at your skill set, that's one thing. But if you're very good at your skill set and a master of your profession, alongside a strong body, a sharp mind, emotional and mental stamina, then imagine how much further you can go. When you look after the asset that drives everything, by looking after your body, being strong, it also builds resilience. It also builds resilience. Lastly, this might seem pretty obvious, but it still baffles me why People would go above and beyond to check in with other people, check in with clients, check in with staff, family members, kids. But the fifth one, just so many people do not check in with themselves regularly, physically and mentally. But if you have aspirations of being in consistent, healthy shape, and you're not actually physically checking in with your shape, then you're relying on hope and you're more likely to lower standards. But the most successful, healthy, happiest people I coach, they check in with themselves every week, every 2 weeks minimum, especially when it comes to their physique. And they self-evaluate. Many of them journal, but as a minimum, they'll take time to have creative space for themselves, to evaluate their behavior, to evaluate their weeks, personally, professionally, socially, what's went well, what hasn't. What do I need to do to be better if I'm not where I want to be? So those are the 5 things. So just to recap, they outsource health, they're direct, they're intentional, they train every week, and they check in with themselves. So if you want to make this year the healthiest, most successful, happiest of your life, do those 5 things, or evaluate those 5 things, and ask yourself, out of those 5, how many of those are you not doing, and how many of those are you doing? Or what more specifically, what traits, how many of those traits do you have, and how many traits do you not have? And if there's one that sticks out like a sore thumb, what are you willing to do about it? What can you do right now off the back of this podcast to take action? Because most of these guys started with nothing. They didn't naturally just come into this world healthy and in great shape. They didn't naturally come into this world successful and, with plenty of money. They've created that by having the traits and the daily actions that have created that identity. And another reason why these 5 things are so important, long-term behavior change is down to what you do consistently. And ultimately, these 5 things are all going to influence your behavior. And we behave our way to success, and we behave our way to a better body and optimal health. So I promise you, if you abide by these traits and have them as your daily checklist or even weekly checklist, I guarantee you are dramatically going to create more chance of you being healthy, happy, and successful. Because as I said at the start of this episode, I really believe that given the choice, everyone wants to be healthy, happy, and successful. Because if you think about it, when we start quest for business and we're trying to make money, it's for a feeling, not just for ourselves, but we believe it's going to give us a certain feeling we've not had, or more positive emotions maybe we don't experience as consistently as we want. And we believe it's going to make other people that we love and care for happy. I think we forget that sometimes. And as I put in my notes here, when we are wealthy and healthy, 99% of the time it's impossible not to be happy. So I'd love to hear your biggest takeaways. Appreciate all your support with this channel as always, and I'll see you next time.